De-dollarization, how BRICS is quietly redrawing the global map, what happens when the world starts moving away from the US dollar. For decades, the dollar has ruled global trade, oil, loans, aid, even sanctions. But now, countries from China to Ethiopia are quietly asking, do we still need it? This is the slow but unstoppable story of de-dollarization, and it's already reshaping global power. Hi, I'm Samia Mohammed, and this is Analytica Today. We're breaking down how BRICS is leading a global shift away from the dollar, why it matters for countries like Ethiopia, and what it could mean for the future of the world finance. But step by step, trade by trade, the dollar's dominance is becoming chipped away. The background, how we got here. Let's rewind. For nearly 80 years, the US dollar has been the world's default currency. It powers over 80% of global oil trades, and nearly 90% of international bank transfers go through SWIFT, a system heavily influenced by Washington. But here's the thing. That dominance also gives the US enormous leverage. It means Washington can punish countries through sanctions, cutting them off from global finance, trade, or investment. For many countries in the global south, that's not just power, it's vulnerability. So what does de-dollarization actually look like? First, trade in national currencies. India and Russia now settle over half their trade in rupees and rubles, cutting dollar transaction costs by up to 2% per deal. China, meanwhile, is expanding its digital yuan, and Ethiopia has already signed a $1 billion loan deal denominated in yuan, not dollars. Second, new financial systems. Platforms like BRICS Pay and mBridge let countries transfer funds directly, skipping SWIFT entirely. mBridge, tested by China in the UAE, already processed over $22 million in transactions. It's not perfect yet. Regulations differ, and trust takes time, but this is real, functional progress. And third, the new development bank. BRICS answer to the IMF. Since 2016, it lent $32 billion for infrastructure with plans for a rupee bond in 2026. It's not the size of the IMF yet, but it's building the global south, something the West rarely offers, funding without political strings. The stakes, why it matters. Globally, the dollar still makes up nearly 58% of foreign reserves, down from 71% at the turn of the century. BRICS nations holding over 40% of the world's GDP are quietly stacking gold and trading in their own currencies. This weakens America's ability to weaponize finance, like sanctioning Russia or Iran. But it's not all smooth sailing. Rapid de-dollarization could cause market instability. The dollar still anchors $6.6 trillion in daily forex trades. If nations pull away too fast, currencies could swing wildly, especially in countries with dollar-denominated debts like Brazil. That's why even BRICS is cautious. China's yuan now makes up about 8% of global trade, a big jump from 2% just 5 years ago, but Beijing knows it can't replace the dollar overnight. Here's the thing. This isn't about killing the dollar, it's about balance. For the global south, from Ethiopia to Brazil, it's about independence, a chance to trade, borrow, and build without asking permission. But the US isn't watching quietly. Washington has floated new tariffs up to 10% on BRICS imports and keeps oil trades firmly priced in dollars. This could escalate into the next big economic tug of war, one that decides who sets the rules for the next generation. The outlook, what comes next, so where is this all heading? In 2026, India takes over BRICS presidency, and it's expected to push digital currencies and new trade pacts. Platforms like mBridge could expand, and more loans will likely come from the new development bank instead of IMF. If local currency trade doubles by 2030, BRICS could save the world over $200 billion a year in transaction costs. But without a real alternative, the yuan has capital controls, the ruble lacks global trust, de-dollarization could fragment trade and raise costs for smaller economies, including in Africa. So yes, the dollar's grip isn't loosening, but slowly, carefully, and unevenly. De-dollarization isn't a rebellion, it's an evolution, one that reflects a world that no longer unipolar. For nations like Ethiopia, this shift could bring more autonomy, fewer strings attached, and new ways to finance development. But in a world moving away from the dollar, one question remains. Who will we trust to lead the next financial chapter? I am Samia Mohammed, and this is Analytica Today. Subscribe if you want to understand the world, not just watch it.